All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live on the Web3 network. I'm sitting here with some of the homies. We got a beardless Biggie Poppins today. And Gifted, of course, is wearing black. Nice NFT attire there, Gifted.
We like to call this the DGen uniform, right? That's what it is. You get a black hoodie, you get a black hoodie. Everybody that shows up at the show gets a black hoodie. Yep.
Absolutely, man. So we're all getting settled in here, ready to talk NFTs and Web3. A couple big stories today. The open edition meta was talked about in the GM Web3 morning show directly preceding this episode on the Web3 Twitter. Neon Cat Neon Cat, founder PR Guitar. Neon Cat. So PR Guitar Man joined us. That was an amazing discussion there to have like the Neon Cat balloon, creator in there talking about open edition metas. Is you can't ask for anything more. And then we had Kane Mayfield come in and absolutely shit on open editions.
Oh no.
It's the magic of the Twitter Spaces format. When you hit live, you have no idea what's going to happen, and so often on the GM Web3 morning show, we get crazy people hopping in all the time. And yes, massive shout out to Chris, aka PR Guitar Man, famously the creator of the Neon Cat, which apparently this is important. This is the real way to say it. It's not Neon Cat. It's Neon Cat.
Yeah.
It's almost like meow. It's Neon Cat creator PR Guitar Man came and kicked it with us for almost the whole show. Shared a lot of his thoughts on the open editions, the current state of the meta, some of his favorite artists. Like Christy Glass was a new one. He also shouted out Jen Stark and Brian Brinkman, a couple of his favorite artists. So that's always really cool when you get, popular artists talking about artists that they love and follow and respect in the space. So we got him to talk about all kinds of things. And this seems like a great time to remind everybody that now all of our GM Web3 shows, all of our NFT live audio is getting published, syndicated to audio platforms. So if you missed it, not only can you catch it on Twitter right now for a limited time, you can pick it up on Spotify, on iTunes. It was an amazing episode. Check that out. It's a beautiful thing.
Shout out to Jacob, our amazing team member here who gets these out. NFT Live and GM Web3. So we love you, man, getting it out there. This is Spotify. If you're a Spotify user, get over there. Web3 Network. We're there every day. Biggie Poppins, beardless Biggie Poppins. I have said it 3 times before we even started. You look great, man.
I didn't think you guys would spot it, to be honest, but I guess it's noticeable. It's a funny story. It's a classic blunder. I was supposed to just trim the mustache.
You overshaved one side a little bit too far, and then
you know how that you put on the different sizes and the lengths, right? And then sometimes like it gets like too filled up, so you have to tap it. I don't know what happened. I took it out to tap it, and then my wife and kid did something. It's their fucking fault. And I was just like, whack. And the minute I did that, I looked at the fucking mirror and I was like, no. And I have a wedding next month, my sister's wedding. So I don't know. Let's see how fast this mustache can grow. I wonder, like, if I mint a bunch of open editions, like, will it grow faster? That's my question. This weekend has been nuts, dude. I've been shopping Q for handcuffs, comfortable handcuffs. If our audience,
you just cut out, bro. I just lost you.
Right on the handcuffs too.
It was getting kinky there. I think what he's referring to is his inability to stick to his New Year's resolution of only minting like one a month. I'm pretty sure that's what he's trying to stop himself from.
It's January 30th. What do we think? How many do we think Biggie has minted here? Probably.
Yeah, let's check in. Let's check in. We like to do these 30-day check-ins. How's Biggie doing with his New Year's resolution? There you go.
There you go.
You're in. No, you're here. You're here. We got you.
Right when I start talking about this shit.
Wait, can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Oh, goodness.
All right, he'll be back. But I do think doing a 30-day check-in on his resolution.
He would fail miserably. Folks, we just lost Biggie Poppins, one of our other co-hosts here on NFT Live. We do this shit daily. So Gifted hosts the GM Web3 morning show from 11 to 1. Here, and then right directly after that, we hop into NFT Live. We do it daily. So if you're here for the first time, leave a sub, leave a like, and join us here. We go live again every day at 1 p.m. Eastern. Biggie, we got you, man. I hear those clicks.
He can't hear us. I think is the issue.
Production. Yeah. This is live content, folks. We're seeing
Check
it live here.
Your output here.
At some point we're gonna have to get like Biggie the setup. You know, like just the
full
setup. Yeah, because we're asking him to essentially like start from a starting block beyond where we're at least from a content perspective.
Shout out NFTGO. Apparently we're matching today, so that's cool. Biggie says he's here and he's working, so let's get him back in.
I can hear my
go.
Fucking electronics. I'm telling you, they're killing me. Anyways, I was asking for recommendations for handcuffs, right?
Biggie, send me your address. I'm going to send you a nice little present. But
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, man. Like, I can't wait to get talking about these open edition metas. Honestly, it's been like there was no weekend for me. Like, I literally like had like a Saturday morning, and then I like quickly just glanced at fucking Twitter, and it was over. My weekend was over. I was jacked into the Matrix, and so
zero self-control.
Fuck it, no, man. Like, I need fucking handcuffs. This is serious. Recommendations now, please, people.
Biggie, while you were locked in the Matrix, me and Gifted were wondering at your New Year's resolution. You said once a month. What's going to be the final tally as January wraps up here?
Dude, are we counting like the open edition multiple mints? Like, like if it's okay, yeah, I am like easily way beyond 50. Like I'm totally the opposite. 50? It's bad. Yeah,
dude, this is why y'all tune in here every day to get the alfalfa here from Biggie Poppins. Are you kidding me? 50. Damn, you're on the front lines. How much are you up? Like, are I know that's a hard question to kind of lock down, but are you up overall?
Oh heck yeah! I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. Like I'm not worried. I feel like I've sidestepped. I mean, I'm an advocate for responsible degenning, but it's still fucking degenning, Q, and it's annoying. It's work, It's like being plugged in and like jumping from one place to another one. And these fucking open editions, the thing is, sometimes you have to do like rapid DD, right? Because they're not open for very long, or they get vented out. I mean, again, maybe I'm exaggerating it a little bit. I don't know. I don't think so. It's an intense situation to be in. But I'm happy with what I've picked up over the weekend. I'm comfortable and confident that it'll do great. But it has been fucking wild. Like, I'm like, just fucking stop. Like, we need a break. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. This can't keep going on. I mean, not only have I like completely like 5x like broken my fucking one time a month mint New Year's resolution, but if this continues, like, I mean, what's gonna be left of Biggie Poppins bags? And like, I'm just gonna be sitting for the rest of the fucking year, like talking about stuff but not being able to mint. It's hilarious. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I'm pumped.
All right, so I was a complete noob here on the NFT Live Twitter. Apparently, I replied to the Web3 morning show for the tweet today, but I linked that there in chat. If you guys want to go over to this tweet and help us share it out, it says, get your week in NFT started right. Here are the topics today. Gordan made a big announcement about 48 hours ago saying that he was going to be stepping down at Yuga Labs. That's going to be one of our main topics. And then Open Edition Meta is here. And lastly, we're going to touch on Polygon and Flow and Solana. So those three seem to be like taking up a majority of the, I would say, like airwaves. That's just related to like the secondary protocols, not the Ethereums, the Bitcoins like that everybody knows about. But yeah, Matic, Sol, and Flow we'll talk about. I appreciate you dropping those links, Biggie, as well. And we're going to have a bunch of quick news or like medium to long news segments here in the beginning, as Prodigy likes to talk about. So we're going to touch on the latest. Elon just coming out with a huge announcement on Twitter, which likely is sending Doge to the moon, but we will see. I checked the price. It looked like it was responding a little bit well, but other than that, We will get into it here in just a second. Want to give a quick shout out to the chat that is joining us here early today. We see you. Ahmed is in the chat. Ahmed, if you want to join and be on NFT Live here, it's as simple as sending you a link. We'll send you the link.
Easy peasy.
It is.
Oh. Dude, so shout out Gaper, aka Ahmed Meh. He is a dope dude that we're trying to get more integrated into this awesome network as a contributor. He showed up as a special guest this morning. We're going to try and have him every Monday on GM Web3 to talk about different topics. Again, we were talking about like how to identify new metas and the open edition meta today. Cam Taylor in the chat too. But yeah, Ahmed, if you want to come on NFT Live, bro, it's literally as easy as sending you a link. All you need is a decent camera and mic, and you can jump on right now.
I wish Restream allowed us the opportunity to put some PFP up. Yeah,
I've been doing it for a year, and I'm fucking rocking it. Just join us.
Okay, Gifted has like hit me with like 18 links as we just started the episode, so we got to get started.
I thought beards were required to be on the show, but apparently Biggie's proven us wrong. You don't even need a beard to be on the show anymore.
I think you just Biggie. I think you just like you go full shave at that point, like unless you're trying to grow it back.
Man, I want my fucking stash back. That's what please, somebody help. I got like 2 weeks for my sister's wedding. At least I need something, like a little bit of shit. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
Okay, we got to get off and running on today's episode. I know it's already starting out to
short
be a
episode.
Long one. Yeah, Squashman says OVOT. Our vibe, our tribe, that is the mantra of our network, our slogan, our war cry, if you will. So if you are here for the first time, OVOT, our vibe, our tribe, get in the community, start to show up here every day, and you'll be a triber yourself. Slap Soil Kiddo says, let's go. Justin Casey is in the house.
Justin Casey's got some great ideas. He's talking about maybe waxing or shaving GM Web3 or NFT Live, I think. He said NFT Live, he might just shave it into his back, which I like. I'm all for that. Yeah, if you want to do that and capture that for us, we support it.
Arafim is saying it is keep the beard, Biggie. So a little bit of a slight dig there at what you're looking like these days.
Dude, I hear you. I got it from everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cam Taylor, we see you. Justin Casey also saying maybe I'll shave NFT Live into my back, or I can have my mom wax it live on YouTube. Listen, if you do that, you win the $50 in Ape Coin. Which we will get to in a second.
And our undying respect for the rest of your life.
Whatever that means to you. Prodigy said, Q, did you show the boys the meme I sent you the other day? Here's one thing. Prodigy is in the midst of an 8-game losing streak this morning on League of Legends, which is bad. The split just started. If you lose 8 games in a row, you're just hard stuck at that point, I think.
Hang it up. Retire, bro. You're done. You're done.
All right, 25 of you in the house waiting for us to get to the NFT and Web3 news. The last piece I will give you as it's related to housekeeping is that we have a fuck ton of giveaways to get to. Biggie was just mentioning that we need to do the Based Heads giveaway. It's been almost a week and a half, it's coming up on that 2-week mark of like, why are you guys rugging us? Like, stop doing that. So we have to do the Based Heads giveaway here. I don't know if we can do it live on stream, or we're going to have to pick the winners afterwards.
We'll do it after. Okay. We'll do it after. Yeah.
Biggie's like, you son of a... All right. I promise you, we will have a tweet out on NFT Live with your Based Heads winners. I think we had 3 to win 3 Based Heads for participating in the Meta Marathon there with the Based Heads. And we are based... we're going to do that giveaway. And then we also have the Ape Coin giveaway. So I'm going to link this tweet one more time. Again, for whatever reason, I replied it on the morning show, and it wasn't its own tweet, but there it is. Leave a community topic there, and I will pick a winner for today's $50 in Ape Coin. And then I actually have to give Squash Man $50 in Ape Coin from last time. So again, we're behind the ball here on a lot of this stuff. But without further ado, we will get into today's quick news. I'll hit the bag check after this. I wanted to start us off with this. What do we think? Twitter begins applying for regulatory licenses to enter payment business in the U.S., folks. We're about to have a Twitter wallet, folks. What do we think, Biggie?
Man, we all knew this was coming. We all knew this was one of those top priorities that we suspected Elon to put in. Now, the real question, Q, is what are we going to be accepting? Is it just going to be? I mean, obviously they're applying, so we're obviously going to be accepting dirty fiat, right? But I am more curious about the longer roadmap. I don't think it's going to be like right off the back, but we know Elon is looking to either come up with a token himself or maybe use his beloved Doge token for this stuff. Either or, I think it's bullish for the space. It's going to be great for creators. It's going to be great for Web3, for tipping, for doing all kinds of stuff. I think it's going to unleash a brand new creator economy. And how could you be angry at that?
Yeah, and Doge is getting a little bit of a pump here. It'll be interesting to watch it over the coming days. I was talking to my friend, good friend, Garrick G Money, who's a very, very accomplished and experienced blockchainer about this very thing. And here's what we were coming to, and that's that probably Twitter will not be able to use Dogecoin because they'll need to have a little bit more control, a little bit more centralization. It probably won't be able to use Dogecoin by itself as a currency. But what would be really cool is if they created a fork and created a coin off of the Doge chain, off of the Dogecoin. So basically providing utility to the Doge ecosystem, to Doge itself. That would be really cool because basically the speculation there is that for branding, for centralization purposes, to have some level of control because of how powerful, having a Twitter currency could be, they're going to have some kind of controls over that and probably have their own token. So how they create that seems to be more of the question. And again, I think it would make too much sense to be really dope if they actually use, the Doge coin to, kind of fork off of that somehow. So that was a thought there. I also just want to call it again, this has been my speculation, but I think a lot of us that are more, bullish on Elon and his vision long term is that he's playing a much bigger game than a lot of people understand. And he understands that Twitter can be one of the most valuable platforms in the world and that people will absolutely conduct commerce on this platform, right? And so like this just makes too much fucking sense if you're paying attention and like thinking about it. Like, dude, having your own wallet on Twitter, having your own coin, being able to actually tip and transact and buy and sell directly through the platform and also have different rewards. Who knows what kind of rewards could come with this too? I hope that, he's paying attention to some of the innovative things that things like Blur Token and DeFi have been doing to try and like create incentives for creators. We also know that incentivizing creators has been one of the first things he's been talking about. Mm-hmm. So let's add that in here. You've got a wallet, you've got a Twitter wallet, which probably means there will also be some kind of token or coin that is Twitter native. And then you've got a bunch of creators that you want to incentivize. What could that look like?
Okay, so the topics are rolling in on that tweet for NFT Live, so thank you guys for participating there. Gif, I'll push back just a little bit on the Twitter creating their own native token. I feel like that's more of a hurdle, and it gets you more in the weeds of regulation when you try to attempt to like do a Libra like Facebook was doing, as opposed to just making the environment where Doge can be actively traded. So I'll push back on that. They still have a ton of hurdles to get through to try to say, hey, we're going to allow, I wouldn't say buying and selling and trading on their platform, but a place where people can be transacting on the platform. That's still going to be tough. But yeah, dude, either way, it's going to be sick. If Twitter launches their own token, which is a fork of something, that would be massive for building out their... that almost like would take them into the stratosphere of being like a Web3 app, right? Like transitioning into a Web3 app where you have your own native token that is based on blockchain tech. It's like, holy shit, we're into the future now.
He's a futurist. He's a futurist, and he's bullish on blockchain.
Biggie, if you got any takes, let me know. Just in case, saying, bro, the nerds need to suck it up and accept this. We all will need exit liquidity for the open edition shit show in our wallets. A lot of great comments.
Kane Mayfield over here.
Mike Erlinson is saying, thoughts on Starbucks NFTs. First one listed, getting some sales above 1K.
We were looking at it, and I should have bought one. I was like, it's the first NFT. I should buy one, and I didn't.
Gifted's experience buying a live on air has to be just like you've done well on some of them. I don't think it's just cock punch.
Calling me out.
You love buying live on air. That's all I was trying to say. Slap Soil Kiddo is saying, in the arrival of Open Edition, what would it be for the one of one artist? You might have to rephrase that question. I don't know exactly what question you're trying to ask there. So, Slap, if you could re-ask, we'll get to that. And Jack
we
Sider was
will
saying,
get to that. There are many things to be addressed in this thing that we've been talking about since last year. So for sure.
We'll have the open edition talk. We will get to that here in just a second. Mike Erlinson is saying, I swear every time I watch GIF, he's munching on some snacks. So GIF's got a.
I don't get to eat all morning during the show, and it gets to this point. I need a little bit of something.
He's a grazer. He's a grazer, right?
Yeah. He wears diapers. I mean, he can't even get to the bathroom. He's peeing on himself right now.
Fuck. All right, you just put me on blast today, Q. Just putting me out there, bro.
In my one to talk about Elon, I completely skipped our NFTGO bag check segment. So we're gonna just jump in real quickly to the bag check market overview.
We're killing it.
Sentiment's still a little bit down, but it's up here over the last 3 or 4 days. It was sitting at 24, 23 at the end of last week. Traders, more sellers than buyers. Everybody's still in losses here, so don't chat if you're not in profit. Blue chip index, ETH. Blue chips are down or holding in ETH, but also up a little bit in USD over the last 30 days. Not so much in the last 7. Market cap and volume over the last 30 days. You get a little bit of a look there. We're down in ETH, but also up in that beautiful. Wait, I said that the opposite. I'm sorry. Fiat. We're up in fiat, but down in beautiful ETH. Holders and traders. Holders going up steadily. Traders somewhat down over the last 7 days. If we link out to 30 days, don't pay attention to this one, but we are holding here over the last 30. So we had that initial euphoria is what I'm seeing here, right? Right when the year started, I feel like we had that euphoria for 2-3 weeks, and now we're kind of coming off of that. Category market cap, you don't really get to see much here other than the fact of the sectors that we talk about a bunch here that don't have a lot of liquidity and don't have a lot of market cap, right? You switch this to liquidity. Oh, you switch this to volume. And we see that. That's an interesting one. I feel like they just added liquidity to this bar. Not sure what that even means, but look at photography NFTs.
Whoa, what's happening with photography? And could this be an impact from Instagram? I don't know. I've been bullish on Instagram making photo NFTs huge, but I don't know if this is tracking any volume there.
I mean, I've said this multiple times, but as we go through the bag check segment, we're still working with NFTGO and their platform here.
We got to get Jared back on. We got to get Jared back on to explain some of this.
Look at music here. Is that just trades, maybe? But that would be volume.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Category liquidity is calculated as sales-weighted average liquidity of collections from a certain category. Huh. All right. We'll move on. Don't want to get down to the rabbit hole there. Over the last 30 days, we get a look at what's being traded across the NFT space. Obviously, Yuga taking up a majority. Azuki was heavily traded. The Captains was traded. And Doodles making an entrance there. And then over the last 24 hours to 7 days, you can see 24 hours, Yuga again. And I really lean on you guys for the open edition stuff. I'm not even sure I'm not even sure I'm saying this right. Ikahaya.
Yeah.
I did not get involved in this, but that is on the top trending list as well on the volume. 7 days. Porsche up there. Still, Porsche floor still at 2.5, by the way.
Yay for them.
How long does it last?
I'm gonna zoom this out to the last 7 days here as well. OpenSea and Blur again taking up a majority. Looks are an X2, Y2. We know how dirty those are on the wash trading side, so we'll see.
The dirty.
The shit organic. And that is the NFTGO bag check segment. We're still working on it, as you can tell, but it feels like it's improving a little bit.
Bag check. All right.
Yeah,
we gotta get that. Yeah, we gotta get that graphic. That is not.
Check.
This is.
That's not it. That's not it. I figured. Market feeling I'm feeling a little dicey about this market, man. We had about, again, like I said, 3 weeks of just really strong ETH prices, really strong Bitcoin prices. NFTs were taking off. It's it's still a bear market.
Nah.
Can we highlight and pull up this comment right here because you'll love to see this. Good vibes. I just bought my first ever NFT, a sewer pass. You guys helped me make. You guys helped me make my decision. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Yo, good vibes.
Wow.
Love to see that.
What
That's
a
what's
name.
up.
Pro gambler as well.
Look, not financial advice, y'all. No, but you know what? If you think that we're helping or giving you some additional context or insight into projects, that's cool. That's what we're trying to do. It's all your own risk, but love to see the positive vibes.
So a couple things related to Gifted here. You were talking to me about sewer passes over the weekend, right? And we could have that discussion here in a second. But also the nude mints. We're here for the nude mint meta. Gifted. What's going on? Are we doing a reveal here live on air?
Look, I mean, I don't like with Jess not being here on the show with us right now. I would feel like I'm giving away a little bit too much, but just know that we're all artists in our own way. And there may or may not be an open edition collaboration with none other than Yacht, the thirst trapping queen of the kingdom. She's talking a lot about these nudes and dropping something spicy on Thirst Trap Thursday this week. I'm just saying, I may or may not be part of that.
I honestly, she was serious about that. She was being serious about her drop. So open edition might be coming from Jess. Are we buying? We're buying. I'm buying.
I already found it. She already has it out. I'm just waiting for gas to come down, but it's pretty cool. It's like AI, and then she added her little twist to it. And I'm just curious, since you're in the audience, Jess, will there be a burn? Because you can mint up to 10 tokens.
Love that. Give us some answers, Jess. We need it.
The more you burn, the more nudity you see, or something. Like,
come on. Yeah, that would actually be that's fucking brilliant. You start with like fully closed but sexy, and then each burn progressively loses a piece of clothing. Bro, that's a fucking brilliant mechanic. Biggie Poppins for the win. Give him some love.
It sounds like you've done it.
Like the fucking episode. The episode.
I put in my reps, Q. I've put in my reps with the open edition stuff.
One day we'll have to mint the Brazilian pickup lines as well, Biggie. Just let us know about that, and we can coordinate. Last bit.
Giselle Von Kitten.
Giselle. Let's go. That's going to be an inside joke for forever. All right, so last bit on that bag check. This is the trending mints out of the last 24 hours. So Angry Ape Society up there. This is by sales, so we can search by volume as well. Maybe
I bought a checks, y'all. I did buy a checks. I bought a few duplicators. I bought a checks. I also bought some of the Warhodl open editions, the lids. I'm just telling y'all some of my DGen plays. But yeah, the checks has been coming up a lot as like this has been one of the foundational. Dude, I'm still holding my proceed with caution.
What happened?
Still holding it.
That was at 0.67 when I woke up this morning.
Is that real?
What the fuck?
Somebody sold under, but I want to see what the red one is at
right now. Right now on OpenSea, it's still at half an ETH. I wonder. I wonder if on another platform somebody is like dropping them or something.
Go.
God damn.
But I'm still holding mine. I'm still holding my proceed with caution. I'm pretty bullish on De Lucrece as an artist, dude. I was hunting through his Tezos collections. They're all so expensive now. Yo, we called Life of Mon. I think Mix came in and called Life of Mon when it was around like, I don't know, 0.4, and now that one's like way up to like 1 ETH, or it was at 0.7 or 0.8. I'm really bullish on this artist, De Lucrece. That's why I'm going to keep holding that one. Yeah, anyway, there's more alpha. I feel like we're jumping all over the place a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's quick news segment, baby. We're all over. Yeah. Thank you guys for the comments. A lot of good ones came in. Justin Casey saying, Ikahaya minted by founder of largest Japanese alpha group, ICL. Yeah. He is a savage, so does Rumor. Appreciate you bringing
They say, GIF, that he's the Gary V of Japan. So.
Wait, this is...
Don't get GIF excited, all right? Don't get him too excited. All right, I'm getting to the rest of this. I had a Dookey Dash thing come in, so this is not the Yuga Labs segment just yet. Not the Yuga Labs segment show. We had Mongrel, a big esports player related to FaZe Clan, I believe, hit the #1 score in Dookey Dash. So this was a really cool moment where you got to see like actual, what we would call like traditional gamers or non-Web3 gamers getting involved. He hit the top score. He has millions of followers, 2.1 million followers. He's tweeting this out to. So
Mongrel.
it was really, really cool kind of crossover here that you see, right? You have obviously the exposure to his Twitter audience, but you also have the idea that Web2 gamers are playing Web3 games. We haven't seen that before. Axie Infinity really didn't have that pull. So this was a really, really cool moment. He said first in Dookey Dash, and then we had a ton of other comments coming through. But that's good exposure, man. And it sucks for all the rest of us that aren't pro gamers.
So I remembered part of what I was going to say. So I wanted to jump back briefly to the checks part, because one of the things that we've been talking about this new meta and the open edition meta. One of the projects that appears to have been kind of at the forefront of establishing this as a new meta that really took off is the checks VV. Value, whatever, I forgot what VV means.
Visualize value.
Visualize value. So it's like this new group or company started called Visualize Value, these artists dropped a collection called Checks. And it's basically just, the Twitter verification mark in a bunch of different colors, very simple, but it was one of these first early open editions that has just really taken off and spawned a whole lot of derivatives, which is one of the things that people point to as like one of the things to look for when you're looking at what could be a new meta. If something takes off and then that success spawns a whole bunch of derivatives because it's a simple format or it's like really easy to follow or build on top of, again, PR Guitarman was talking about, memeability and creating something that's simple enough that people can riff off of. This collection, Checks, seems to be one of the first projects that really set this new meta in motion. And so people just keep collecting them. The floor's been driving. So anyway, I picked one of these up, and I think holding on to one of these might prove really valuable, because as I think it was Thread Guy who said, if you kind of launch a new meta, you go down in history. And I always say, why would you collect a derivative? Again, unless it's something like a Caked Apes that has a lot of artistic value and integrity by itself, why would you collect a derivative when you can get the original? That's where the majority of the value is going to go. To me, this might be like an original of this meta that holds value for the long term.
And I would highly encourage everybody, our viewers here, and you too, Giff, if you want to check it out. Proof did an amazing NFT stats, and Jack Busher did an amazing interview with Jack Busher about all of this and how his thought process came about, because Visualize Value has been around for some time, and he's got a massive following, and he's known for making these really thoughtful designs that seem simple but have a lot of depth to them, behind them. And so I would encourage you guys to check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, I want to check those out too, Biggie. What's up, man? I can't check that out?
Yeah, of course, Q. Dude, I thought we haven't even gotten into the fucking open edition meta thing.
No,
I'm waiting. I want to get through these things. Div just keeps bringing us back into he just wants to get at it, and I get that. Let's get through the rest of these news things so we can talk about what everyone's talking about.
Okay, one of the biggest pieces of news that kind of went under the radar, if you will, like I didn't even really like see it come across my timeline that much, but maybe I'm not just into Azuki's at all. But Azuki's got hacked. So Azuki in trouble as official Twitter account hacked. Popular NFT project Azuki fallen victim to scammers who hacked into the Twitter account. This is what Jess was saying earlier. It's like you can set up all these processes on the founder side or the project side, and then still have problems, right? Because if you're tweeting out something through the tweet, and if there's FOMO attached, people can still get wrecked, even if you take the proper precautions. I've even seen somewhere like 2FA is involved, or they say that 2FA is involved, but they're still hacked. It's all a clusterfuck. But the scammers instructed followers to click a link promising a mint, which turned out to be fake. Unfortunately, those who followed this link had their wallets compromised and assets stolen, resulting in the theft of over $750,000 worth of USD, 11 NFTs, and nearly 4 ETH from unsuspecting users. So give me y'all's take, and I will jump into this tweet thread as well.
Well, we always say here in the show, don't be the first to mint these things. Don't rush into things. And honestly, it's something that I'm very cognizant of right now with the open edition meta, because at some point somebody will be able to clone that site and will be using FOMO induced tactics like limited amount, open for 5 seconds only or whatever, and degens are gonna fucking click that link and immediately just want to be first. You don't need to, like, artists don't need to do this to their collectors, and you as a responsible degen that you are should not be FOMOing into this stuff. Whenever you get that feeling like you're missing out, like you gotta rush to it, think twice.
Well, it seems like we're just getting straight into the open edition meta, and screw the quick news, because
This
one of
is
the
quick news. We're on Azuki. What are you trying to do here?
we're sprinkling the value, the
Giff
conversation.
has got a
of open
list,
editions.
man. He's got a scroll.
Along the way,
What?
we're just sprinkling in the alpha about open editions, because one of the interesting things that came up this morning was the value of trusted platforms like Manifold, and how the technology underlying that and the open editions and the burns has actually been really important to making this new meta happen, right? Because so much of the time, these new metas are moving in tandem with the innovations in the technology, right? A new technology, a new mechanic, a new platform comes out, and then that spawns the creativity and the new options that artists play with, and then new metas arise. And Manifold has been at the center of this open edition. And one of the good things is that, we don't know 100%. We tried to get answers on this, and I don't think we got conclusive on the show. We don't know yet, is it possible to still create a malicious contract or project using Manifold? I think it's very difficult, at least. And so, when you see manifold.xyz as the browser extension, you probably, for the most part, again, not financial advice, like who knows, I could be wrong, but for the most part, when you see that manifold.xyz, you know it's at least pretty trustworthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the toolkit that they provided with these open editions is what has driven a lot of this. So I think, we can't overestimate Manifold's part in creating this new meta. And I think that's one of the things that I'm looking at for new metas, is when new platforms provide new tools or create a whole new platform. I think this is why sound.xyz is also a place that we should be watching right now, because we started talking about music open editions. I would not be surprised if the open edition meta just moves into other types of art, of other genres. So I wouldn't be surprised if music open editions could be the next thing that really fucking pops off. And we're going to do a show on sound.xyz, because we don't know enough of what's going on over there, in my opinion.
Oh, I could get some people for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm compromising myself here as much, but I just wanted to show you like news.yuga.com. The way that they do their drop is that you have and I could probably verify and change this, but it actually shows you a verification of a term that you used in the beginning, right? Like
Yeah.
Right when you set up the account to go into the website, you can actually, have a term, whatever that might be for you. And now when you go to a website, you don't have to worry about that shit. And it's like, oh, look, an innovative way that we can work out security for our users, instead of saying just everybody's responsible for themselves, and make in at the same time not removing all the landmines that exist in this space.
Mm-hmm.
That's some big brain shit right there. Maybe Yuga's talking to Prodigy or something to get these types of ideas, because Prodigy is big brain and coming up with all kinds of ideas. Him and Biggie probably consulted on that.
Okay, so we're gonna move into open editions here in just a second. Giff, hold your horses, okay?
I feel you, Giff.
So we are gonna.
I'm already done. I'm already over open editions. I feel like I got it all out. We're done, right?
Oh hell no.
I think Kane never even started there. I think that's the situation. Let me get this pulled up here. I got so many different links. This was interesting. Oh god damn it, we're into the open edition talk again. Nifty Gateway founders leaving. So I believe Griffin and Duncan Foster or Cock Foster are leaving Nifty Gateway here. They're kind of the ones that spawned the entire open edition meta. Mm-hmm. I guess the initial meta around what was going on.
Not this meta.
Not this one. Not this one. To be fair, this
the
open edition
initial approach
existed.
Or the conceived of the idea of burning for other art, redeeming for other art, started with Nifty Gateway for sure,
and not setting a total cap on that supply as well, right? So after almost 4 years, Griffin Cock Foster and I are departing Gemini and are passing the baton to Nifty Gateway. This journey has been an incredible ride, but Griffin and I are founders at the heart. We want to start another company. every founder has the right to do so. I think they already kind of again sold a lot of the company to other individuals. They probably had some type of agreement, and I'm just speculating here that they had to stay on for a certain amount of time after the sale. Again, I think we all feel the same way, or at least Gif, you've mentioned it, and I've agreed with you, internally that I didn't really like the way Nifty Gateway went about their success early. I think they milked the shit out of the popularity that they had early on, and they were completely, I wouldn't say completely extractive. They have a space in the history of this, Web3 kind of industry, but they were a little
It's got a bit of a top shop blemish there, right? Definitely. But also credit where credit is due. Like, they were very good at curating and introducing audiences to new artists, Web3 native artists and everything. So, I'm not salty about that. It's within their rights, and I wish them well. And I don't know. Let's see what happens with Nifty Gateway henceforth.
I think, if we're trying to put a positive spin on the legacy of Nifty Gateway, then I do think you can credit them with, to Biggie's point, curating a lot of artists and introducing a lot of big names into the NFT Web3 space early. And who knows, maybe, a lot of those early pieces from Nifty Gateway will age very well. We don't know. One of the things, though, was, the way that they did these open editions was very extractive, and they did not invest at all in the community and utility early on. It was just taking a bunch of money for something that something undefined. You don't even know how many it's going to be. It created a lot of bad experiences, and it was just on to the next one. It was just a big marketing machine. And so that created a lot of bad experiences, like with people like me that tried it out and then said, fuck this. And that's actually why I was slow to get into the open edition thing. Like, I like it now because what Manifold has done is they've provided the toolkit and the capabilities to artists directly. So you don't need a third-party big platform marketing agent like a Nifty Gateway. You don't have to rely on them and them taking a massive cut. The artists themselves can now do these types of open edition burn mechanics very easily, set their own price, handle it how they want, create their own games. And so that's empowered artists and the collectors who want to connect directly with them and get in at a cheap price. That's doing open editions well, when it's accessible at a low price point and you're not speculating on something that you don't even know what it's going to be at crazy, high buy-ins. That's ridiculous. So I'm a fan of this meta. But it was brought about by new tools, not by someone like Nifty Gateway, who, again, I think did it very wrong. But again, if we're looking positively, what they are now partnering and actually focusing more on the community side recently. So you got to give them credit where that's due. They've pivoted. I think they realized that they fucked up because they lost a lot of the volume and a lot of their early believers. And so they've pivoted. They've partnered with people like Caked Apes, with a lot of other communities in the artist spheres that we run in, that we love. And they're actually behind the Starbucks Odyssey. So they're now building their business that way, doing big partnerships, partnering with communities. And it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. I do think the Starbucks Odyssey thing is something that we're going to be talking quite a bit. Jesus.
Justin Casey earlier, and I want to get to some comments, Biggie. I'll let you get in here in a second. Justin Casey earlier was saying, check out Yoko_NFT. He does an English space covering happenings in the Japanese NFT market. I think that's a fair piece of alfalfa there to drop you guys. Jessica Dropsy saying every burn, you don't like alfalfa? No, Gifted is shaking his head. I don't want to say alpha anymore. I hate the term alpha. It's the most
alpha's not that bad. It's not that bad,
bro.
Overused
term in the space.
Everybody's
okay.
It's nothing's worse than digiphysical, and you'll say digiphysical all day. It's a million times better than digiphysical.
Every other word on Twitter right now is alpha. Here, join my alpha group. Check out this alpha. So I just added a little falfa to it. That's all we're doing. Here, I'll open this up to the community, and we will get the final word from the
alpha
community.
Versus alfalfa.
What's the most overused term in the entire industry? I want to hear about this.
It's gotta be GM.
Would love to get your take, other than GM. GM's like, I feel like it gets the pass because of the vibes. Everyone wants to GM each other. That's fine. Fine.
So subjective. This is so subjective right now.
You're subjective, Gif. You're subjective.
You're right.
Justin Case is saying alpha pivot. Jess is saying bye-bye alpha. And hello, alfalfa. Okay, I added that part at the end. All right, the rest of the quick news segment here. We got 2 more pieces. Biggie, you dropped me some, and then I think actually Gifted, you dropped me some. I'm gonna give you a platform here to talk about Amazon and to talk about an open edition. But do we really have to cover the California DMV?
Look, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I think we should all know
Tezos,
about this.
yeah.
Yeah, first of all, they're partnering with Tezos, which is huge. Again, as a Tezos believer, but also here's the thing. Yeah, yawn. That's fine. I appreciate it. But if you are an NFT maxi, I am not like I'm kind of an ETH maxi, but I'm not really. I believe in other chains, but I think of myself as an NFT maxi. What does that mean? It means that I think that almost all assets at some point will move onto the blockchain. I believe that the technology to be able to tokenize assets on the blockchain is revolutionary and will change almost everything in our day-to-day lives. So seeing this is just exciting because it shows that, at a state level, government level, they see the power of the technology to better manage, more efficiently manage databases and assets. That's all this is. They're saying, hey, this is a better way for asset management. Let's try moving all of our car titles onto the blockchain. This is huge. Like we should all care.
And 100%. And I think this is one of those things where Tezos is, underappreciated, right? Because they've been slowly building it. And one of the reasons Tezos was built in the first place, it came off the back of the fork after the DAO hack with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, right? And so basically what they wanted to do is make an upgradable blockchain that, what the fuck, awful word. To make it a blockchain that would be capable of upgrading itself without avoiding hard forks, right? And so I can only believe that the reason they went with Tezos, something like the DMV and other more boring let's say assets will do so as well, whether it's to Avalanche or Tezos, is because that's an area that a lot of people aren't working to address, right? And that it's in dire need of an upgrade. And these blockchains, while they're not exciting and they're not tackling the open edition meta or gaming, or all this other stuff, it is very important to be able to put certain health records, real estate, other assets on the blockchain, I think. And these chains are something to keep an eye on. That's all I'm saying. I am excited about it.
The only reason I
brought it up.
Yeah, I was being a little bit, I was joking just a little bit when we bring these stories up. I think they're a little bit overreported in this space. We've been talking about real estate on the blockchain since I got into the space in 2016. Yeah. They were going to do STOs. They were Amazon getting into the blockchain. That's basically them setting up a node, right?
It takes time, bro.
They're partnering with all of these. They're partnering with a blockchain, aka we're setting up a node. That has happened 10, 13, 15 times over at this point, and I've seen the same exact story. So that's my only take there.
That's true.
And it's cool. It's cool to talk about it, but it's just
That's good perspective, and I appreciate that because I think you're talking facts, right? This shit doesn't happen overnight. So just because we're talking about this doesn't mean everything's going to change tomorrow. But that's not the point. I think it's exciting for us who are invested in the success of the space to see more adoption, even if it's incremental, small steps, right? To see these experiments at scale. Here's a quick point
and to celebrate those wins, right? Because they are wins.
Quick. To celebrate the wins, but real quick, California is the 4th largest economy in the world. So also this isn't it's some little, it's not like El Salvador, or something like that testing something. This is one of the biggest economies in the world. Bigger than almost every other country. So this is meaningful, I think. And again, it's not going to change anything overnight. It's going to take months and months. The government moves. We all know how slow the fucking DMV is. It's going to take forever. But I'm still excited to see this kind of experimentation.
I love it. Winebags is saying GM party peeps. We see you, Winebags. NFT Kitty photography NFTs will boom via Try Showtime. Shout out to Try Showtime. Alex Masmej, founder of that, was a big leader in the social token space, and he then moved on to kind of create an Instagram competitor of sorts within NFTs. I don't know where that platform is today, but I noticed it when you mentioned it. Quantum Variant saying manifold contracts have been audited. They are safe, but that doesn't mean someone will fake a manifold looking page. So I think that's an answer to your question there, Gift. That using manifold, you're going to be okay with their native contracts, but someone could fake the manifold website.
Yeah.
All right.
Check that URL, manifold.xyz. That's key.
Justin Casey saying alpha pivot. Cam Taylor saying alpha is cringe at this point. Thank you. Justin Casey saying so cringe. Jess says bro. Bro's definitely
These comments,
overused.
Yo, y'all, I freaking love these people in the comments. Y'all are killing it. Seriously. I get so much enjoyment. I get so much enjoyment out of these fucking comments. Oh my God.
Nox Darkness is saying community, and I would probably say that other than alpha, that is those are like going for the top spot there.
But community is
alpha.
so cozy. It's like a warm blanket.
It was.
You know?
GM is used more than all of them, but
now,
Q doesn't want to admit to that point. That's fine.
I am surprised that I used to think GM was bad. Now I think GM's good. So I flip flopped a little bit on GM. Maybe I don't know. It's just the vibes, man. Everyone's
don't fade the vibes. Can't fade the vibes.
People are just trying to share useful information when they say alpha, but nope, that's cringe. Can't do that anymore.
And people are just trying to create warm, cozy communities, but you also can't do that apparently. Yep. So Marty McFly saying, "I copy."
We can't have any nice
things.
We can't have any nice things. And yeah, copy trading Biggie is a move.
Here's the most unexpected thing of the day. Here, I copy traded Biggie. Now I think Open Edition. Marty McFly thinks Open Editions suck. How surprising is this?
I don't know what wallet you're following, Marty. It must be like my grandpa wallet, and I'm glad you haven't seen my other ones because they're fucking chock full of Open Editions, dude. But yeah, I understand your sentiment, but I respectfully disagree.
Asmodai saying regional time to be alive. We're wrapping up quick news, folks. I promise. Right, Bland is saying Ford over GM. Yes, you're right. General Motors. I think Ford is a little bit better. Quantum Variant, the warm blanket is a rug. And then I think Jess had probably my favorite comment so far. She said, referring to the California instituting blockchain, is this a modern way to get carjacked? Yes.
Maybe. Probably. Yeah. But so. You got to fuck
hand over your tokens.
Yeah. Hand over your keys.
Okay, so this has to be a speed run here, fellas. This is a lightning quick round. I've got fake means of production. I got a breath of fresh air, and I got the Ikihaya pass and Nest graphics. All right, start.
So those last two are open editions, so we can address them in the open edition sector.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is
that first one.
Yeah.
What was that first one you mentioned?
Nest graphics. This one?
No, you mentioned Ikihaya and Nest graphics, but there was another one you mentioned. The first one.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. Apparently, the quick news is also open edition. So we're just going to transition into open editions now, folks. This is what
we
we're
were
doing.
Already in open editions this whole time.
You've tried to change Azuki story.
He's gaslighting y'all. He's gaslighting y'all. Don't listen to him.
Okay, so we've flown past quick news here.
Fake memes is what you talked about.
We are squarely in the big news, not big news. The main topics of the day. We're past quick news. So if you guys can leave a like on today's episode, please do so. If it's your first time here, we're doing this shit every day at 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I think so. If you guys are on the West Coast randomly. 10, but yes, 10, again, please leave a like today. We will get started with our main topic, which is open edition meta. Is it here to stay? What is going on in the space and our general thoughts on it. Again, GIF was talking with Neon Cat, founder, PR Guitar Man as well. That was a pretty good conversation there in the spaces this morning. So that was a good one. We have some context. But all right, where do we start? You GIF, since you were just bombarding me with open edition.
We've already started. We can pull up the Nest graphics.
Okay. Here we go.
Look, everybody, throw up some hearts and some likes for Q. He's doing his best over here to keep us organized, but it's failing spectacularly today. But he's trying. Let's give him some appreciation.
There's got to be order in this chaos.
Yeah, he's really trying, and it's our fault, not Q's. So let's pull up Nest graphics. This is one that caught my eye since we're just talking about open editions. There's obviously been a lot of these. We talked about checks being one of the originals that really sort of started the meta that's getting credit for maybe kicking off the meta. I did pick one of those up at like half an ETH or something like that, because when a meta is started by a project, that project is probably going down in history. I think that was really well said. It's a good point. I got to check, but this is one of the other ones that I saw over the weekend. Nest Graphics, who is an OG in the space, somebody who I've been following since early Clubhouse days. Fan of his art, does really, really cool sort of like 3D animated works. He just dropped an open edition. I have not bought into this one, but it looks like about 20,000 were minted. So to me, this is just one worth watching. And if you're a fan of his art, it might be a way to get his art for cheap. So I might still buy one, because I don't think I have any Nest Graphics yet. And again, that's one of the beauties of open editions. It is, if you get in early enough, at least, it can be an opportunity to get an artist that you love for relatively affordable. So yeah, I believe this one is pretty new. So like the burn, you can still get in on the burn mechanics and have fun with it. I think what's happening next is that there's going to be an animated version, because I think it's kind of like a static version was the original open edition.
I do agree that Checks was one of the, at least for this year, that brought this into attention, right? Like for our space. But I do think this one, Nest Graphics, is like, what is it? The mint that was heard across the world, as they might say. Like, I think this one is the one that, to me, has really established like some kind of like groundswell. Like, I don't think people are giving it the attention yet that it deserves, right? Like, I mean, yes, people are talking about how much money he made, but this is just like act one for this guy. And he's already tweeted, like, this is what he's going to do for the rest of the year. And that's what I'm most interested in right now. Yes, like in a simple terms, the open edition meta is a great way to, to offer collectors like, an access point, an accessible alley, especially if you're already pretty big, for people to collect your work. But I think that's rule number one. Like, if you're going to mint an open edition, try not to do it out of speculation. I know. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Degens will be degens, right? But I think that's rule number one. It's like, make sure you like the art. Make sure maybe like do a little background check and find out who this artist is. Especially now when we will see hacks coming forth. It's not just going to be like the manifold lookalike sites that you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of people impersonating like prominent artists in the space. And if you don't look at that, at address on the Twitter page, you could get screwed. But other than that, I think I'm more excited about the mechanics that artists will be able to think up, especially if you give them like the time and the space and you remove that worry from them, right? Like of having to consistently produce and like, like feel that pressure. Is like, okay, like Nest Graphic now just made $2 million. Like, at least you got a year to really think up how you want to work. Like, I hope he doesn't get pressured into like doing something quickly, right? Because it's been really cool. Like, very much like DeFi has educated a whole generation on finance and tokenomics and inflation and all this stuff. NFTs is doing the same thing with art, right? And like, we're getting schooled right now on the difference between open editions, one of ones, but we're in the early beginnings. And yes, there will be a lot of grifters out there just looking to extract money from the space. But man, this weekend was insane. Like, I got to mint 3 artists that I've been following for a very long time. I've been wanting to collect their works. And not only that, but I'm hoping that it's not just like, I didn't just get lucky in the fact that I got a great entry point into artists that I really admire, but I want to see what they come up with. Very much like the way Lucrezi and Chris have done with their works, right? Like, I think this open edition meta, the reason, like we were saying, it's nothing new, right? Like, it came out last year, and like some of it had a really bad taste for people's mouths. If you participated in PAX Merge, maybe you're not a very big fan of open metas, right? But because the tools now have been handed directly to the artist, and that artist has direct connection with their collectors, I think you're going to see a very different relationship established with those collectors, right? And with those communities. Sorry, I had to say it, because communities will be formed around these Lucrezi's monsters and whether you have a full set and the things that you'll be able to participate further down the line. I think this enables a lot of creativity that we're just scratching the surface. So I don't think open meta is going anywhere. It's just getting started. Yes, you're gonna have to watch your ass. Make sure you the artists that you're minting. Check them out. Do your due diligence. Double check the websites. Don't get scammed. But man, it's exciting. I think when we look at it, like several years down the line, when we look back, there's gonna be a before and after this. And man, I'm really happy for Manifold that they're the guys that are like getting all this attention. Let's see what happens. I'm really excited about it.
I love the different takes that we all have in maybe the sectors that we came from, or just ways that we look at the space, right? Because where you guys are kind of schooling me on the open editions, I'm not as involved, and therefore maybe not as, how can I say this, like supportive of how open editions might be covered, and saying that there's like this brand new meta that's approaching. Marty just had a comment that isn't as similar as mine, but it's in the same kind of vein. I lean more that way. He said guys made millies selling open editions over the weekend. That's all. It's over now and played out. And the way that I would kind of look at this in a game theory perspective, how it gets played out, is open editions become a little bit popular like we're seeing now. And they have been popular before, but in this specific timeline, more and more people start to get into these open editions, meaning that more and more supply is then forced into that collection by people who probably don't even want to be in the community, and therefore you're not having as much a return and as much interest around that. I love the open edition concept, that it lowers the barrier of entry for people that are trying to get into the community. Oftentimes you're not paying $2,000, $3,000. Instead, you're paying $15, maybe $30, maybe $100. I don't know what those numbers look like. You guys are much more experienced, but I lean more on the side of this is something to be, this is a mechanic to garner interest in what I'm doing, to make a little bit of money, and it'll get gamed out. More people will mint the open editions, and therefore there won't be as much of a return that we saw for the Lucrece pieces. To Gift's point, it pays to be early in these like timeline metas, that I would call it.
For sure. And I think I think the responsibility also falls on the collector, right? Like, nobody's twisting your hand to buy 10 or 5. You're buying those because either the artist like said that there's going to be a burn or some type of utility down the line, and you want to see the game through, or you're just buy one because you like that artist and you want him in your wallet so you can put it in your gallery at some point. And I think that's freaking great. Having said that, I think you do have to be careful here, because if you do decide to play this game, right, like in max mint, whatever you're buying on the open edition, then you should definitely be considerate about it, like, and look to artists that have been in the space for a long time and are thoughtful about these things. They didn't just jump on the bandwagon to be a Me Too, right? Because they want money. They like Lucrece will tell you he's been thinking about this open edition game that he's playing with his collectors for 1.5 years now. Like he didn't like just concoct it like in New Year's Eve after drunk stupor, right? Like he's been fucking planning it out. Now, and there's also like Chris's approach with Neon Cat is also valid. Fun little game, awesome. I can't tell you, like I don't care what my Rainbow Neon Cat is ever gonna be worth. I just like that I played the game and that I called it, and I was like, I'm holding my fucking red balloon cat until the very end because I know that's gonna be the reward. And like that, I don't know, like the fact that I was able to do it and I have it as like a representation, it's just fun. I like it. But again, it's like it's a thoughtful approach with a certain respect for your collectors. You're not just like minting out and like see you, right? Like that's the problem that I think like a lot of people like of artists are kind of having to wrestle with, right? It's like,
how does that change
at least
with an
like
open edition, Biggie? Like you can still, how does that process you just said of minting out and then saying see ya, that doesn't necessarily change with an open edition?
Well, we haven't. Well, one, we haven't seen it yet, and we will. We will. It's not necessarily a hack, but we're gonna see rugs. We're gonna see artists come up to the space and say, "Hey, open edition," and make a bunch of roadmap promises and never deliver. Go chill on a beach and leave them hanging, right?
Mhm.
But then you're gonna see other stuff. So here's like one thing that started happening, and this is one that I'm very happy about too, Q. I started seeing this open edition meta, and I was like, dude, like there's stuff happening. But I remembered that last year I had minted other open edition stuff. And so I started doing some snooping. And one of the things that I immediately caught on to was remembered was Fuck Render. Fuck Render was like, he did an open edition last year. Like, I want to say like September or something like that. Nobody was remembering it at the moment. It only took like an hour when everybody was DJing into the Nest graphics and this and that somebody in the Discord saw Fuck Render talk about like him liking open editions and this and that, posted some like cryptic little comment. I immediately remember that open edition. I found it on OpenSea. It hadn't pumped yet. I minted a bunch of them. Lo and behold, you're going to be able to exchange them for something else. Now, again, I'm a fan of Fuck Render. I don't think he's a scam artist. I think he's got plans, and like this is just his first act, right? Like this is like his first move into this tokenomic gamification that he's going to be playing with his collectors. But I think Fuck Render is one that's a solid bet. He's been in the space for a long time. He respects his collectors, and I want to be a part of it. And it's an accessible point. And so as long as you don't put your, everything into it, you should be fine. It's the other ones that are complaining where they start immediately demanding like for artists to focus on floor prices and supply and all this shit that just cracks me the fuck up. It's like you have no rights to demand shit from this. It's a fucking open edition. Like the hell are you doing?
Don't buy it.
What are you going to do?
Don't buy into open editions because of utility or roadmaps. That's not what they're for, right? But I think one of the important things that Biggie's raising here is that like this don't go just mint a bunch of open editions because they're open editions. Mint them because there's an artist or a story behind it that you believe in, right? That's where the real power is. That again, you can find these really established artists that maybe haven't been accessible, that are doing something unique. That's why the De Lucreces are doing well. That's why the Neon Cats are doing well. That's why, Checks, and then Nest Graphics. The reason why we're highlighting specific artists is because these are the projects that we believe have some credibility. Well, Warhodl is another one. I shared the link for that. I did buy Warhodl. I think that that's an artist worth collecting, and most of his stuff is pretty expensive. But he's doing lids, which again, this is a riff off of the Checks. So take that for what it is. Maybe it won't be as worth as much because it's derivative, but Warhodl is a legit artist that's very expensive. So this one is worth highlighting. The reason we're talking about Nest Graphics is that this is an OG artist with an established following who has an iconic style. And this is also the beginning. I actually, while we were sitting here, Q, you're giving me, which for good reason, a hard time about my live minting proclivities, because I tend to just do it for fun and shits and giggles, because it's fun to mint shit live. And
we love you for it, Giff.
But I just went and bought the Nest Graphics one because I was already a fan. I was paying attention, and then Biggie kind of co-signed and said this is a really legit project. And
I heard financial advice there.
The floor has actually dropped a little bit from the mint. So I'm saying, shit, if I'm going to get in on Ness's work, this is my first piece that I now own from an established artist that I've followed for years in the space. 0.05 for one of his pieces, while I can also get in before the burning starts. To me, this is a great entry, and that's why I just bought one while we were sitting here.
And I think this piece in particular is the one that sparked the conversation, right? And it was precisely because you had like legit collectors that were happy for the artist and happy to be able to mint something and have it in their wallets and maybe expect something down the line, whether it's utility or a roadmap, you never know. And we're happy to participate. And then you had the other guys, the DJs, were saying like, close down the mint, it's too much supply. And so it just caught wildfire. And the conversation's just been crazy ever since. I've enjoyed it immensely. But don't miss the forest for the trees. There are really great artists out there giving you a chance to join their ecosystem if you ever wanted to. There's Jeremy Booth doing boots. There's Tangusi, who's just fucking phenomenal. I don't understand why more people aren't focusing on him. Like, he's incredible. I put the link up there for you, Q. There are really great artists that I think have been thinking about this for some time and that respect their collector bases and will offer, I don't want to call it again, like a roadmap or utility, but just maybe preferential treatment, wink, wink, to the people that partake in this new canvas that they've been given access to. Because again, like, don't expect them to know, like, not all of them are like crazy that have thought about it for over a year and have like really something up their sleeve, right? That maybe we don't know about yet, but he seems to at least have a very well conceived idea. Others are just like, hey, I love my collectors. Here's an entry point. I'm gonna do a burn. I'm not making any promises as of yet, but if you like me, if you think I respect my collector base, join me on this fun adventure and see what happens, right? And that's all I'm saying. And I'm very happy to be along for that ride. I'm very, very happy for artists that are able to do this now, man. Like, I mean, damn, if we talk about sovereignty and like being directly connected to your collectors, I mean, this is just something else.
It reminds me a little about like social tokens. It really does, because what you're doing is when social tokens first like started, you could buy an indivisible amount, or like a divisible amount of a token, right? You could spend a cent and be a part of that person's ecosystem. With the NFT space, it was much different. It was, let me have a limited supply. Let me try to run up the value so everybody can participate. And then now what you see with the open editions is, let's get back to $5. Let's get back to $10, and let's see where it goes. I will say, for those artists that are like I wouldn't say complaining. I would say like more like, they're like, why are people talking about floor price? Well, when you have someone that's buying something for $2,000 to $10,000, they're probably more experienced in the space. They've done their research. They have a little bit of a different mindset. You start to allow, and I say allow on like in the softest terms possible, you start to allow the people that are buying shit for $5, and that's what they're expecting a return for, like $100, $200 return. Those are the questions you're going to start getting. For the people that are more experienced in this space, you're going to not have to deal with that. Like I'm looking at it from the perspective of, you're opening the floodgates up to everybody that maybe aren't as experienced in this space, and those are the questions you're going to get, and that's the shit you're going to have to deal with.
But again, if you're buying open editions from artists who aren't promising a bunch of utility, expecting big returns, you're doing it wrong. That's not the point. So I'm just going to say it point blank. Don't buy open editions from artists thinking you're going to 10x, 100x. Don't buy them expecting a bunch of utility that's not promised. If you do that, you're an asshole and you're doing it wrong. I
would say most of the volume is that, though.
Right, but you can speculate. It's hold on. It's very different to buy in speculating that it might go up versus getting angry on Twitter or getting in people's DMs and Discords and being like, what the fuck? Why isn't this 10xing? These are different things. Because I buy in expecting things to hopefully rise in price, but I also buy in knowing that I love it and it might not, and I'm just there because I also want the art. I'm not going to go on fucking Twitter and start disparaging artists because their shit doesn't 10x overnight. That's fucked up. And if you're doing that, you're fucked up, straight up.
And then you invite the grifters.
Also, like, read the instructions, right? Like, for example, this Nest Graphics one. Like, the first glance I looked at it, I was like, this fucking guy is trolling everybody, because like the whole text is just like literally making fun of all this shit. And it's like, don't expect anything. Like, it's called fucking Burr, money printer go Burr. Like, come on. Yeah. But then you read down all the way down and you see that, okay, I need to collect 5 of these for a future burn. That's the rule. Oh, all right. A whole bunch of people minted one because they found out that he's a successful artist and they were figured, hey, this is going to have some value down the line. But they didn't read the freaking text. And then by the time the open edition closed, they realized, oh shit, I could have gotten 5. I needed 5, not just 1. Now I'm pissed and I'm gonna go bitch at the artist. It's like, come on. On the other hand, you have somebody like Fugrender, which I think like he didn't expect. Like I don't think he saw. None of us saw this coming. It just happened. He had his open edition still open since last year, which to me makes a great fucking story, right? It's like nobody can ever bitch about not being able to get that open edition ever. It was open for fucking months. He closed it down when he started seeing degens just flooding it, and like the price of the token going up. He's not, and again, like I think whether he had conceived of doing something with this, like a burn mechanism or not, like he's jumping into the game. Why? It's not to extract from his collectors. It's because he wants to honor them, and I think he wants to do something cool for them. And that's why he immediately was like, okay, I'm going to shut down this fucking contract because degens are fucking piling in. And now I'm going to turn around and deliver something beautiful, something nice to these collectors.
There is the money aspect.
I think it's really cool.
Let's not gaslight people.
I guarantee
there's the money aspect.
That's
a big part
but
of
that
it.
should but like you said, Give, that should not be your primary motivation. 100%. Like that should never be your primary motivation, especially open editions with artists. It's like if you really want to like guarantee make money, go look for 101s.
So one of the other interesting things that I want to bring into this conversation that I think pairs nicely with Nifty Q's point about being reminded of social tokens. Eli, good friend of the castle, the Rat King himself, joined us on GM Web3, and he very astutely talked about how not having a specific high limit for like a large generative drop where you set 10K or 8K, not setting a limit that you need to sell out for, a lot of people to think of it as quote unquote successful, not having to do all that marketing and promo, not having to, build out a whole roadmap or utility to try and, not having to do all that and then have the potential negative side effect of not reaching that has removed a lot of barriers to artists to be creating these larger communities now. And that's, again, kind of more this social token aspect of get into my community for a really accessible price with much less pressure on the artist to sell out a 10K project. I think that's, again, about why this is so empowering to artists is that if you're a pretty well-established artist and you maybe haven't found a way to launch that bigger collection or felt like you're ready, you can now do an open edition, see how it goes, and there's much less pressure. You can, mint 10 of them. You can mint 10,000. And either way, there's no expectation put onto that really, or at least minimal expectation.
Well, yeah, it lowers the expectation, right? It lowers the expectation. I kind of, Biggie said something about it lowers the return. Like you should, much rather go for some one of one to try to make money, which I kind of disagree with early on, because what you're doing with a $5 mint is saying that the risk reward is so much better at that price than you would at like $1,000 one of one NFT. You could turn $5 into $100. There's not very much of a chance to do that with a $1,000 asset, $2,000 asset to like 100x that, where I'm looking at some people that bought an open edition for $1 and they're selling it for $150. It's like the risk reward there is much better. And that's why you see a lot of speculators treating them like penny stocks, in my opinion. Like I don't want to get away from the art piece. I love that aspect because what they're doing is able to gamify it now too, right? Like the open edition, the low value, high supply approach allows you to say, hey, why don't you burn 3 of those open editions? I would never do that shit with my ape. You know what I mean? Like, or my like low value, even my gutter cat. I'm not fucking burning my cat, for something else. But with an open edition,
on the incentive. You don't have a nice carrot dangling in front of you just yet. But I mean, you were incentivized to stake it, right?
Yes, but you don't lose anything. You don't burn anything.
Okay, sure. But do you think like, okay, I'm just saying, like for as a mental exercise, if Yuga were to come up and say, okay, I got something for you guys, let's burn your apes and see what comes out on the other side.
Sheesh.
Like that is
they never do that.
Of a proper teacher. Of course not. It's a mental exercise.
Yeah. But the one person that does it would be a 1-on-1.
That's what they say. Like, show me the incentive and I'll show you the result, right? Charlie Munger. Honestly, the thing here, like all these other things in crypto, is that it's an experiment, and it requires knowledge of growing community, tokenization, some copywriting, some all kinds of things that maybe not all artists are geared to tackle or equipped to address. And so I really think that you got to play to your strengths here. And I mean, I don't know Chris personally, but I loved his approach. It was like, I'm going to keep it simple. It's going to be a fun little game. It's just a fun little game. And God knows what the value of that will be 5-10 years from now. But it was innovative. It was fun. It was unique. And he was one of the first movers, which to me, when we give provenance or first to this space, it's very much like with checks, very much like it will be with Nest graphics. There is value to that if you believe in the ethos of crypto, of being first, right? Of being the first one to do something, right? So I don't know. I mean, again, I do agree. Don't go into this speculating or with the intention of just making a ton of money. Go into it like because you like the artist, because you want to be part of the community. And if the artist does mention something about some kind of utility or roadmap, take it with a grain of salt, because it's a brand new fucking meta and people are still experimenting. So, I will not be surprised if down the line you're going to have people pivot, right? Like, and that's fine by me. Like so far, the things that I've put in my wallet, I'm happy to, if they go to zero, so be it. I don't think they will. It's always crappy when things go to zero, but like, again, we'll have to see how it plays out throughout the year.
A lot of NFTs are going. Yeah, a lot of them are going to zero no matter what. Hopefully, again, you're not investing anything you can't lose no matter what you do. I love how philosophical this chat is getting. Isn't everything a carrot and a stick at the end of the day? It's a great question. But also, real quick, maybe to wrap up part of this conversation, again, we were lucky to have PR Guitar Man Chris, the artist behind the Neon Cat, join us this morning. And he did share a little bit of, alfalfa, whatever you want to fucking call it, or a little bit of info. So that game, basically, he played it out over a week with a new burn each week, and it all, went towards burning 3 red balloons for the super Neon Cat, the rainbow. And he basically said, like, look, that's it. I limited the game. It's 1 week. The game's done, basically. And it was cool. It was fun. It took you for a journey and a ride. But he did share that he is actually planning some utility now. So, he's not making big promises. He didn't tell us all about what it's going to be. But again, back to this like sort of social token aspect of getting people into your community at an accessible price, building that larger community through these open editions. Now he has this group of people who are all collecting these awesome neon balloons that he can, add utility to as he deems appropriate over time, as he's able to. And that's cool. It's like you're now just along for that ride. You don't know what it's going to be, but you're in it.
Real quick, I want to ask both of you, because again, these are all just our opinions up here. Like that, again, this topic about open editions. I should have been minting these open editions with you. Like I should.
But you were enjoying your weekend like a normal human.
True.
And you didn't like shave your fucking mustache like an idiot.
I will ask real quick about the Neon Cats. What was the mystery balloon? Like what happened with that?
So I mean, I got one. I burned three reds for. I think I still have 1 red, and it's the Super Neon Cat, which is farting rainbows. He's got a night background instead of a day background, and he's got a pink balloon, which is reminiscent.
Dope.
It's reminiscent of the Pop-Tart. It's really cool. So yeah, there's now a super one. I can find the link.
And honestly, you know, GIF down the line, like 2 years from now, when the Neon Cat community is ruling the crypto sphere, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I remember. I traded mine for purple, green, and whatever and everything. The true ones, like you and I, will be able to say, we diamond handed our red balloons all the way until the rainbow. And then people are going to call bullshit because some people are like, nah, you bought on secondary. And then we'll be able to show the transaction. Be like, no, motherfucker, I held. Check this out. I am a fucking believer. I think, but again, and honestly, if Chris wanted to reward that, for example, the people that bought a secondary versus the people that actually burned 3 balloons and held through the whole ordeal. I don't know. It's fun. It's interesting. That's all I'm saying. And I look forward to all the conversations and funny jokes that are going to come out of it. Thank you,
these
Chris.
are the things.
Great.
These are the things that 0.00001% of the population will ever care about, and that's why we love it.
This cat right here.
That's so fucking true.
Until 10 years from now. Open editions, I'm just kind of like formulating, over the past couple of weeks, even though open editions we've seen it before, this has been a major topic. It's like open editions make a lot of sense for gaming, to be honest. Like having an open edition where you're able to continue to mint out,
and for music,
as opposed to music was brought up today too. Yeah, all of these things that have like a lower. Again, they're not supply capped. There's not something that should be supply capped. Open edition.
This is my best prediction. This is my best prediction of where this meta goes next. Is that I think it expands into other genres outside of the like PFP art. And I think music, maybe gaming. I bet there will be some game that starts to introduce this mechanic in a really effective way. So I bet you're right, Q. But I think music is absolutely somewhere that we should be looking. And I'm excited to do a room on like Sound XYZ and get talk time and Kane Mayfield to come and talk about it. Kane's apparently not bullish on open editions, but we're trying. Everybody, go bombard Sabet. If you go to Sabet's Twitter account and DM Sabet, tell him to convince Kane Mayfield. All right, this is a crazy task we're sending you on. Everybody go annoy Sabet and DM him and tell him to convince Kane Mayfield to do an open edition, because apparently Sabet is the Kane Mayfield whisperer. So there you go.
Oh, I see.
Kane, I just linked Sabet's Twitter there. Kane, you saw Kane's tweet as well. I mean, he's not joking here either, because he jumped into the chat this morning. Everyone was vibing on some open edition meta, and he says open editions are a waste of money.
Oh my gosh.
It, for sure.
Many of them might be, but if you love the art, you love the artist.
As far as Neon Cat is concerned, I forget how much I spent. What was it fucking like for those 3 balloons? Like $10 or $15? It's the best $15 I've ever spent. I've been to worse movies than fucking like this. This shit was so much fun. Like, I mean, in my opinion, it's a win already. Like, what are you talking about?
Go ahead.
No. I mean, I could go on and saying how many other bad experiences I've had spending $15 on other dumb entertainment fucking ploys. This one was great.
It solves a little bit of the problem of liquidity in NFTs, right? Because you get this like idea where people are like, I'll throw $5 in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll throw $5. So what ends up happening is you spend $5, you're up, and someone's gonna pay $20 for that. You know what I mean? Because that's not a lot of money. But you're up fucking 3x, 4x on that shit already. And that's what I think is like the really cool mechanic of it, other than all the things that we've already mentioned, like supporting the artist, another barrier of entry is lowered to getting into that community, all that stuff. It's liquidity for NFTs. It's low. It's like penny stocks almost, man.
And I mean,
just remember, it is, but just remember, if you're up 5x on a $5 NFT and you go and flip it, you actually just broke even because of gas fees. So just remember, max.
Trade on Blur, baby.
Max
trade. I think someone was bringing this up, that the open editions were trading on Blur because they had that feature where you could actually sell all at once. Right? Like, doesn't that make more sense to, like, if you GIF, what you just said was you can't even sell in open editions. But if you do it on
bulk.
You can bulk.
I have to say, like, some of the crap that I was minting, crap or not crap, to be determined, but I couldn't find them on Blur. Like, I copied the fucking contract, put them on Blur. It was not picking them up. It was really annoying to have to use like OpenSea to fucking get them.
Yeah,
this is awesome. So here's another artist that's doing like some cool stuff with this, and again, like, this is not even the primary and secondary colors that you're getting, but he's basically enticing you to burn 2 of your tokens for these blends that he's brought up, which I think are really, really cool. So now, if like I were to want to have a full set, I'd probably have to go buy 3 more of each color to be able to do the blends and the secondary colors. Again, I don't mind. I think it's cool. He's a great artist. I love collecting his work. And this is his approach to open editions and how he is trying to incentivize and reward his collectors. And I, for one, appreciate it. I think it's cool. It's creative. It's awesome.
Gif, I want to get to yours real quick. I just want to ask a random ass question, and this is where my mind goes with all that stuff. It's like all of the coloration differences that we're seeing now, which is a part of this open edition piece that at least we've been covering. I'm interested to see where that ends up with which color is the most rare in the NFT space. Are there going to be, is blue going to be? I know that sounds dumb, but
it's all
like,
a social experiment. No, that's also like when you step back.
The next graphic one, like if everybody burns 5 for whatever next graphic does, and all of a sudden there's a very limited supply of the original one.
The game theory, it's simple game theory, and nobody knows. But here's another example, just like the ghost of another announcement. This is apparently just dropping about phase 2, and it looks like there's collabs involved, like multiple. Like if you scroll down, like there's 2 different collabs, SR and the A. Like
what is that super rare? And
that looks like super rare, but I don't know what the A is. Go to that link tree. Yeah, let's see. Proceed with caution. Rare. Click. Oh, super rare is on there. Okay. Yeah, maybe click super rare. That's his Tezos stuff. I wonder.
Oh, it's not up. Oh, wait.
Yeah, so maybe these are gonna somehow drop over there or something. I don't know.
It says that's really interesting. Following this. So is this new?
Maybe. I honestly I have no idea, but I'm excited. So De Lucrece, proceed with caution. Phase 2
coming soon. On this one, fellas. I got FOMO on this one from y'all.
Dude, we called it. You should have gotten in. That's another one. NiftyQ never buying his own advice, bro.
Nifty, like, so why the FOMO though? Is it the seeing it run up in floor price, or is it that you like the monsters of the art?
I like the art. I really do like the art. I think it's the customizability. It comes back to like I want to be in that game with y'all. You know what I mean? And for all the reasons that we just mentioned, like the ability to gamify the experience, the low value, quote unquote. It's not 5 ETH. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's for all those reasons.
I mean, Q, if you really feel that way, you can still get in for a relatively affordable price. I think it dropped down to like 0.4.
I would wait for the rate hikes and the earnings for next month. I'm sure that's not going to be good for the market. It's probably going to tank it a little bit. I'm keeping an eye on the Ikehaya one too, honestly. There's a lot of stuff happening in Japan right now. Japan's going through its own little NFT sea change. And
Q called that. He said Asia's going to be interesting to watch. And we were talking about, what's everybody watching? Maybe this is a way for us to get some access, and because that's what this is, I believe. If you go read it, I think this is basically an access pass to some kind of Asian alpha group, and so this might be really interesting. I'm considering getting in on this. I don't know much other than what's in the OpenSea. Like I haven't found a website or read that yet, but
my hesitation to jump into the like learning more about this stuff is like, where is all this stuff even traded? That was my big thing. It's like there's this whole vibrant. So there's but we don't see any. Oh, I know Ikehaya is. I'm talking about the Japanese NFT market because we don't cover any NFTs on like NFTGO where they're like launching on ETH. Like they don't show up on the analytics pages. Where is all this stuff happening? Is my I know that's like a basic bitch question, but it's like I don't see it. So, and where do I trade it?
I agree.
Well, these contracts are global. So if they're picking up collections, then that would include all global traffic volume, right? Like,
then shouldn't they show up on NFTGO where we're covering it?
Oh, Ikehaya is not on NFTGO?
No, Ikehaya is. The rest of all of these other NFT projects.
I'll tell you one of the reasons why I've found out that it isn't is because the conversations going on in Japanese, and sometimes the names themselves are using those characters, and so it's not.
They might not translate yet. I mean, look, we know NFTGO is only.
If any of you are in the Zeneca group, I know some of you are. There's a Japan Alpha group or channel in there that's It's got a good conversation that I'm tracking. And other than that, like just also another one, a really great one, is Daily Dose Asia. Great resource for things going on in the Asia community. And then I don't know, like if I want to do this to you guys, because like I love you, you're my community, and I don't want to like turn you into degens, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So you guys like cannot blame me for anything, but if you're into this fucking open edition meta thing, check this out.
What is he about to show? He's about to show us your dick pics, Gifted.
I thought he was going to talk about.
Click on the link and enter your seed phrase. No.
Yeah. This is what I wanted to bring up next too. This is great.
Fucking. I can't believe it exists. It's killing me, but this is all the open editions going on right now. Now you still need to do your due diligence.
This is specific to Manifold. So I believe this is all of the Manifold open editions. Yeah.
How fucking crazy is this, man?
Yeah, so this is uncurated.xyz. Chaz Gold also brought this to our attention this morning. So shout out Chaz, shout out Biggie. I was going to bring this up next too, so we're on the same wavelength. But this is a new tool that I just learned about on GM-Web3. Is uncurated.xyz is basically a dashboard of.
It's a good thing we shared it, right, Gif? Like we're not screwing over. We're not like taking time from them. With their families.
Why did you intro this so shadily, Biggie? Like, this is cool. You were like,
because he has an addiction. He's projecting his degen addiction onto us. That's
seriously, yeah, exactly, man. It's like this is the reason why I didn't have a weekend, you know. But it's amazing. Like, look at the explosion of fucking open edition manifold art in a weekend's worth of time. It's crazy, but there is a lot of. I do think though that doing your due diligence and just keeping an eye on stuff. There's a lot of. We're not calling it alpha anymore. What are we calling it? Q.
Alpha.
There's a lot of value to be found, a new artist to discover and possibilities. And I just can't help but think at some point there's going to be manifold whales out there that just have wallets full of like. Open editions that skyrocketed to the moon. And when they start talking to them and interviewing, they're like, oh, how did you do it? Well, remember uncurated.xyz? I spent hours, bro, every day, like for fucking months, just minting shit or whatever. I don't know. I just like to jazz out on these crazy fucking tangents. But I really do think that this manifold open edition stuff just got started. I think there will be home runs, there will be rugs, and there will be scams. Sorry.
The fact
it's the full package.
The fact that y'all even caught the first like part of this, right? Because this is we're like strictly in the middle where like you're talking about it's a boom, right? You're seeing a little bit of a boom in volume for open editions. The fact that y'all caught this is a testament to like your ability to diagnose that it was happening, but also to just be on the front lines and like see it. Right, like you both like the observance and then the ability to follow through on what you thought was a good play. I would commend you for it because that's how you win in this space. So good job to both of you. Hope you all understand the alfalfa that's being dropped and grown here on the channel all the time. I'm staying with it. Okay,
I'm
organic alfalfa. California.
I'll be the last one. I'll be the last one.
There's no alfalfa
as all of y'all try and come up with your dumb rebrands of a perfectly utilitarian word like alpha to describe insights around NFTs. Yeah, I'll still be using it. I'll still be the last one GMing about alpha and the community while all y'all try and fucking like argue over what the semantics of what's a better word and say digiphysical.
My skin was crawling when you said GM alpha. I'm like, oh.
Dude, whatever. Y'all are too sensitive. It's fine.
Just in case, says 4 people run the entire space: Kobe, Big Vern, Silly Tuna, and Nifty Q. Damn. I appreciate it. All right, got. I would add Guy Osiri in there. Got to do it. Anyways, colors of Web3. That's the poll. I linked out a couple different links to Uncurated and some other OpenSea drops. I also messed up on one of those chats. I added what's the color of Web3 on the chat, but it's really in the poll. So there's a red, green, yellow, and blue there.
Did
we have to get on.
The community topic again, bro? Like Nifty Q, you keep throwing up these community topics, and we just get carried away. We just get carried away with these conversations.
Did you see the title on today's thumbnail? Like, it was supposed to be about Gordan. I might. You know what I have to do is probably. I don't want to leave this conversation tomorrow, but I'll have to change this.
Let's just hit it quick. Let's hit it quick.
It's gonna keep rolling. Q. To all those naysayers saying that it's dead or that it's over. I'm sorry. I know, Marty. You're not a fan at the moment. Hopefully, we'll get to turn your opinions around once again. But this just got started. We'll be talking about it, I'm sure, throughout the week.
Okay. I am putting a major message out to the chat right now. We're going to handle all of these giveaways, all of the ones that have already completed, all of the ones that are set to come with the community topic. We are going to handle the community topics. We're just going to touch on a whole segment of community topics that you guys hit with us. So we appreciate that. We will find winners for the ApeCoin giveaways as well and announce them. Let's finish with this Gordan Goner piece and then move out of the episode. We appreciate you guys that have tuned in through the whole hour and 50 minutes as well. Our Vibe, our tribe, we see y'all all the way through. Okay, Gordan came out with this announcement. This honestly kind of shook me a little bit. I was messaging to you this weekend, Gifted, about feeling kind of iffy about not about the state of Bored Ape, right? Like, I don't think Bored Ape or Yuga is going away by any means just because Gordan is leaving, but listening to those podcasts on the fucking metaverse with Gordan and Gargo, which I'm assuming he's not going to be doing anymore. I don't know if that's true. We got to see the extent of the walk back, but basically them two, Gordan and Gargo, are the co-founders, and listening to those podcasts, you see how much vision comes from Gordan himself. Not saying that Garga doesn't either, but he is the personality of that show. And he is, in fact, the personality behind, Bored Apes with Garga. So seeing him say, and I quote via this tweet, "Some heavy news a few days ago. I was told by my doctor I have congestive heart failure." His doctor asked him to radically change his life. Let's see. What does this mean as it relates to my work at Yuga? It means I'm going to be taking a leave of absence to focus on my health for a while. I'll open it up here, GIF. I'm going to try to take some other quotes from this tweet thread, but what were your thoughts about Gordan essentially saying he's stepping down from his role as COO of Yuga?
I would be worried about this if it felt more like there was a bunch of unfinished work without an established leadership team and proof of the execution success that they were so successful with the team that they have, and that they'd been building this out for the last couple of years, and that there weren't other founders like Garga who understand that vision still there. And like, if this felt to me like he was rugging and saying, "Oh, I just caught the flu and I might die," and then went dead on his comms, I'd be worried. I'm not honestly that worried. I think, again, you mentioned Garga, who's been right next to him. They know the same vision. They have the same vision. It's not like the vision is disappearing because Gordan's leaving. I do think it's an L if he's not able to come back. Like, let's say that his illness is really bad and he's not able to get better. That's horrible. It sucks. It's bad for apes. It's bad for everybody. But I'm not sitting here like, oh no, apes are compromised. They're done. They've actually, from what I can tell over the last 2 years, been establishing an amazing team, a bunch of leaders. They brought in, Activision Blizzard's CFO or whatever to be CEO. They've got obviously handoffs, and they've got a whole litany of successes with their execution at this point. And I don't think any of that changes. I think it's just losing one of their leaders, and hopefully, again, not forever. Hopefully he can get better. So,
and I think losing him is a strong word, right? Like, he's still going to be on the board. And I'll take the positive outlook on this and say that sometimes these things that seem like big obstacles or problems can sometimes be a boon, especially for creators and operators out there. And so I want to think that maybe this slower pace could bring forth new innovation in his mind, right? Like new ideas, new ways to contribute. So, I mean, yes, it is unfortunate. I feel for the guy more than anything because I think, like I read, like he had already dealt with like like pretty big problems before, and Yuga was kind of like his baby and the thing that brought him back to life, and so now he's having to like take a leave of absence again. But
And
like I think
we'd all rather him get better than to keep pushing himself and kill himself doing this shit, right?
100%. And like it's I think like I don't know, you look at all these different stories, right? Like of prophets, whether it's Jesus going off in the desert for several months and coming back to the Buddha. Like it's true. Like sometimes these hiatuses are more beneficial than one would initially think, right? Like what people see as a moment of crisis is actually a moment of empowerment and like a change of pace and a change of angle and like getting out of the fucking cacophony that is fucking crypto. I can't help but think that it'll be good for a creative mind like him. So I'm for it, man. I hope he gets better and like comes back like fucking stronger with like these crazy ideas that just launch Yuga into more success, because that's what we want.
It is what we want. And hearing his energy on those podcasts about where the other side was going is what I think I'm going to miss most about him stepping down, right? That was my big kind of, oh damn, like you couldn't tell me much to get me off the train of Yuga and Bored Ape. If you told me Garga and Gordan were leaving, I'd be like, that is a long-term problem. Hopefully they can get out of it. I know they've done a ton to build out their team and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it belongs to those guys that created it, or at least at this point, right? Maybe
especially if they were like, we're founders and we're gonna go focus on a new thing now, like.
Yeah, and I'm sure the conspiracy theorists are running with that, right? Like you know how involved like behind the scenes Guy Osiri is about this stuff. Like he's one of the biggest. If you go into the ApeCoin proposals, which they like post a result essentially every month saying this is what we've spent on ApeCoin proposals over the last year. And Guy Osiri's got a $4 million USD like proposal there. Which has been already sent to him, and that was at $3.50 of ApeCoin. So Guy is involved in this thing, and I don't think that means anything essentially negative. It's probably positive to have Guy that involved with Bored Ape. It's probably why they're so successful. My thing is like you couldn't tell me much that would get me to think negative thoughts about Bored Ape and Yuga. Losing Gordan and Garga, I know Garga's not leaving, but losing Gordan is one of those things. It's like holy shit, that actually shook me when I saw it. And I hope it leads to, again, someone else stepping up, maybe more creativity for both Gordan and some of the team. Maybe that frees up somebody to come in and shake things up. But it felt like we had positive momentum, and losing one of your leaders is always going to be tough. That's a tough one. And I really do, Biggie, to your point, and GIF, I think you said it as well, like, it's about his health. Like this space is fast as fuck. It's one of the reasons I take a slower approach with myself related to this space, because I would burn out, and we've seen a lot of people burn out in this space. Hopefully he does, return and is able to get healthy.
And I'd like to add, since we're talking about hiatuses and slowing down and this and that, because I know some people here in the chat were asking, like, I'm not leaving my Web3 family. Y'all are my friends, and like I'm just gonna take a small little break, small little hiatus, walk in the desert or whatever, if you will. But I'll be popping in sporadically, and we'll be probably back in full force come June. And I still got 2 weeks, so I'm not saying my goodbyes anytime soon yet. So
he's already getting sentimental with it.
Seriously, like no, I appreciate it. I love it. I just saw some comments.
We're gonna have to do
about not health related issues, just. So
we're gonna have to do some kind of send off for Biggie though. So if y'all have ideas, drop them in the comments for how we can do a killer send off for Biggie's sky sniffing and grass touching tour that he's gonna be going on.
Sky sniffing.
There will be some of that.
And you're getting some love here in chat, of course, Biggie, throughout the episode. Just in case he's saying stop sugarcoating, all good, and he gives you a heart there as well. Squashman saying health and family over everything else. I still think Gordan will be active to an extent on socials, Twitter, Discord, not as many podcasts or interviews, but still there, which is enough for the community. Wishing for a speedy recovery.
First the mustache and now this, Biggie. Wow.
If guys, if we finish in the next 30 seconds, we will be under 2 hours, which is amazing for us because in the last 3 episodes, we were just over time. Easy Crypto saying enjoy Biggie. Love the vibes from the fam. Arafim, we see you. Marty McFly, Prodigy. Let's see. Just in case, of course.
Okay, but I'm not leaving just yet. You'll see me tomorrow, okay? And the day
bye, Biggie. Bye.
Later, dude. Wait, thanks for leaving.
Yeah. They're like, thank God that motherfucker.
Yeah, he punched us right in the cock and then just took off.
Take your shot. If you're waiting for us to say cock, you got one. Can't wait for those mint editions with Jessica Otrowski this week, Gift Ed. I can't wait for your open editions and the gamification that entails. I will sign off here. This has been Nifty Q, guys. Again, please leave a like on today's episode. It helps us get it out to welcome more people into this space. We had the first live. What was the I forgot the guy's name. Gambler who minted a sewer pass, first NFT ever. Like that's what we want to do. That's what this network's all about, getting people into the space, buying the right assets, might I add. So good job, Gambler. Thank you guys so much. Our vibe, our tribe. No, you guys got it. Take us out, Biggie, Gifted. Your last thoughts, and then I'll.
Handcuffs, comfortable DGen handcuffs. Somebody build them. I need some. I need many. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
He's got me thinking, people that have eating addictions, food addictions, they have ways to like lock your food in different things for a timer. Maybe you can lock your wallet for like 48 hours or something, or a month. Maybe somebody should invent that app where once you enter
that's when people does an open edition. I want to see you fucking scramble and be like, God damn me, who created it?
So for all of the incorrigible DGen addicts out there, somebody invent an app that allows you to lock your wallet for a specific amount of time, and then you cannot touch it. Anyway, big love to all y'all. Yo, check out this morning's GM Web3 with PR Guitar Guy. There's already like 325, 350 listens or something like that on Twitter. And quick reminder again, you can now catch them on Spotify, iTunes, all of your audio platforms. I'm so excited about the work that Jacob, our amazing executive producer, is doing, putting up with us doing these long-ass NFT live episodes, but also getting
so informative.
Yeah, but he's getting the audio from this show and GM Web3 Twitter Spaces
already
onto these audio. It's already up. Like he's doing it within like an hour or two of the show being live. It is already there on Spotify. How amazing is this? So go check it out. Follow us there and take us on the road with you. And so, you know what? Even when Biggie's not here, even when Biggie's not here and he's traveling, he can listen to our show whenever he needs to through these audio apps. So shout out Jacob, our vibe, our tribe.
Love you.